Have you ever felt like your body is trying to tell you something, but you just can't figure out what it's saying? A persistent pain, a strange tension, an illness that comes out of nowhere and doesn't make any logical sense. Carl Jung believed that the body is the physical reflection of the psyche. In other words, every symptom, every discomfort, every strange ache is not just a random event. It's a deep message from your unconscious mind, a signal that something within you is calling out to be acknowledged. But here's the problem. Most people don't listen. They ignore the signs, cover them with medication, dismiss them as normal, or worst of all, get used to living with them as if that suffering was just part of being alive. They don't realize something fundamental. The body doesn't get sick by accident. It gets sick because something inside is out of balance. Something needs attention, healing, and release. Today, we're going to uncover this hidden language, the secret code your body uses to communicate with you. We'll explore how unresolved emotions, buried traumas, and blocked energy often show up as physical symptoms. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to begin releasing that pain from its root. Stay until the end, because once you understand this, it might completely change the way you see your health, your body, and your inner world forever. Let's begin with the idea of the body as a mirror of the soul. Every part of your body holds symbolic meaning. There are no coincidences. The discomforts and pains that arise often do so during periods of emotional or psychological stress. Think about the last time you had a headache. Were you overwhelmed, under pressure, or mentally exhausted? Headaches are frequently a manifestation of mental overload and anxiety. They're signals. Your mind is working at a pace your body can no longer handle. The connection between mind and body is profound. When we repress emotions, when we don't give them space to be felt and understood, they don't just vanish. They find another route to emerge. Jung once said, "What is not made conscious will manifest as fate." And in this context, what is not emotionally processed manifests physically. But instead of listening to these cries from within, many people just pop a pill and move on. They mask the symptom, ignore the root cause, and fall into the same loop over and over until the pain becomes chronic. The issue isn't just the pain itself. It's the habit of silencing the body's messages instead of tending to them. Healing isn't about living a life free from discomfort. It's about learning to understand the story behind each symptom. If a headache won't go away, maybe it's not your body needing medicine. It's your mind that's desperate for rest, for stillness, for peace. The solution isn't always external. Sometimes it's about creating space for inner quiet, questioning the expectations we place upon ourselves, and releasing the invisible weight we've been carrying around. Let's talk about the weight of unexpressed emotions. Your neck and shoulders do far more than carry the physical burdens of your day. They carry your emotional weight, too. Carl Jung believed that what we repress doesn't disappear. It simply finds another form of expression. And often that expression is through the body. How many times have you noticed your neck becoming tense when you feel stuck in life? When you feel powerless to change something important, or when you're clinging to outdated beliefs that no longer serve you, neck pain can be a clear signal from your inner self. You need more flexibility, not just in your muscles, but also in your thoughts, and in the way you approach life. And the shoulders, their message is even more direct. Maybe you've become the strong one for everyone around you, the one who carries the weight, the one who holds everything together. But who carries you? Many of us grow up believing that asking for help is a weakness. That strength means handling everything alone. But true strength is knowing when it's time to let go, when it's time to release the burden. Here's a simple practice. Next time you feel overwhelmed, close your eyes. Imagine placing that heavy load on the ground for just a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel your body without the weight. That single breath can remind you that life isn't just about enduring. It's also about resting, about allowing yourself to be supported. Now, let's move to your hands and arms, your connection to giving and receiving. These are the tools through which you interact with the world. You create, you embrace, you work, and you express. But when you feel pain or tightness in your arms or hands, ask yourself, is there a balance in how you give and receive? Are you someone who finds it easier to give than to receive? So many people are. They offer love, care, and help, without hesitation. But when it's their turn to accept those same things, they freeze. They feel guilt, discomfort, and pain in the arms. Your body is a way of saying you've been giving too much without allowing anything back in, and the hands symbolize your ability to hold on and let go. Is there something in your life you're gripping too tightly? A relationship, an identity, an expectation? Sometimes we hold on because the unknown scares us. But life flows. It's always in motion, and resisting that flow only creates tension, emotionally and physically. Now, the chest is a sacred space, more than just a physical region. It is the sanctuary of your deepest emotions. Every breath you take holds a memory. Every heartbeat echoes with stories you may not even remember. When your chest hurts, feels tight, or is oppressed, it's rarely just physical. It often signals a trapped emotion. A grief that hasn't been processed. A heartbreak that still lingers. A loss you haven't fully accepted. So many people walk through life with an invisible weight on their chest. They smile, they function. But deep inside, something is aching to be seen, to be felt, to be released. Your chest may be holding a silent cry, a longing, a memory you never got to express. And the more you try to suppress it, the more it shows up in your breath, in your energy, and in your ability to connect. Jung believed that healing comes through integration, not rejection, not avoidance. When you finally allow yourself to truly feel that ache in your heart without judgment or resistance, you open the door to real healing. The back, the pillar of our body, often reflects the emotional load we carry. It's no coincidence that when life becomes overwhelming, pain often settles in this area. The upper back, in particular, tends to accumulate tension when we take on responsibilities that aren't truly ours. When we become the emotional support system for everyone around us, at the cost of our own well-being. Jung once said that the heaviest burden we carry is the person we think we're supposed to be. In other words, we exhaust ourselves trying to meet unrealistic standards. We put immense pressure on ourselves to not fail, to not let anyone down. But the body doesn't lie. If your back feels tight or sore, ask yourself, what am I carrying that no longer belongs to me? In the lower back, the emotional message shifts slightly. This region often holds our deepest fears, especially those related to financial security, stability, and the unknown future. It reflects our fear of not being in control, of not being enough, and of the unpredictability that life throws at us. Consider your legs and feet. They represent your ability to move forward or to remain stuck. Our legs are what carry us through life, what propel us toward our goals. If you've been feeling heavy, tired, or achy in your legs, the message might be clear. Something is holding you back. Jung once said, "What we resist persists." Perhaps you've been postponing an important decision. Maybe you're clinging to a relationship, a job, or a habit that no longer brings value to your life. Maybe fear of the unknown has frozen you in place, trapping you in a cycle of inaction. Your feet, meanwhile, are your anchor. They ground you to the earth and provide stability. Persistent foot pain can be a sign that you're feeling uncertain about the path you're on. Maybe you feel like you don't belong where you are, that you're walking a road that isn't truly yours. Let me tell you a story. In a small village nestled in the hills, there lived an old healer. He was known for a rare gift. He could understand what the body of each person was trying to say. One day, a young man came to him, grimacing in pain. "I've tried everything," the young man said, clutching his back, "but nothing makes the pain go away." The old healer looked at him quietly for a long moment, then asked, "Who are you carrying on your back?" The question struck the young man like a bolt of lightning. Suddenly, in the silence that followed, he realized he'd been taking on responsibilities that weren't his to bear. He had been living his life trying to please others, burying his own dreams and denying his own needs. The healer handed him a piece of paper and said softly, "Write down everything you've been carrying. All the guilt, the weight, the things you haven't been able to let go of." The young man obeyed. He wrote down everything that had been burdening his heart and body. When he finished, the healer nodded and said, "Now burn it. Watch how it disappears into the air." And so he did. As the paper turned to ash, a strange lightness washed over him, not just in his back, but deep in his soul. That's the power of release. That's the wisdom the body holds if we're willing to listen. The young man did exactly what he was told. And with time, something incredible began to happen. His back stopped hurting, not because the fire had any kind of magical power, but because little by little, he had learned to release what had been silently destroying him from the inside. You see, pain is never just physical. Behind every ache, behind every persistent tension, there is often something deeper, a message, a whisper from within that we so often ignore. Every pain you feel has an origin more profound than you may realize. Your body is not just a machine that breaks down randomly. It is an intelligent living system constantly communicating with you. And sometimes the discomfort is not asking for a pill. It's begging you to listen, to truly listen. Because healing doesn't always come from medicine. Sometimes it comes from the courage to let go of what weighs us down, of what drains us emotionally, of what we're still holding on to even when it hurts. Ask yourself, what burdens could you release today? What parts of your life feel heavy, suffocating, or stagnant? It's not enough to simply treat the symptom. If you don't process the emotion behind the pain, it will keep returning. Like a shadow, you can't outrun. Over and over again, the body will speak louder until you pay attention. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. What he meant is that all the suppressed feelings, the denied truths, and the repressed memories don't disappear. They become patterns. They become pain. They become your reality until you choose to face them. You can take all the treatments in the world. You can mask the pain with medication or distraction. But if you never stop to ask, what am I really feeling here? Then the true root of your suffering remains untouched. That's why the first real step toward healing isn't physical. It's emotional. It's asking yourself, what emotion is trapped in this part of my body? What have I not dared to feel? What have I buried so deeply that my body had to scream to get my attention? Take a moment now. Pause. Breathe deeply. Close your eyes and go inward. Ask yourself with complete honesty, what emotion have I been avoiding? What truth have I not been willing to face? Maybe it's grief, maybe it's anger, maybe it's fear, and maybe it's all of them wrapped together in silence. Healing begins in that silent recognition, not with judgment, but with understanding. Today, I invite you to take just one small step toward your own healing. In the comments, write the phrase, I release myself. Don't just type it out of habit. Feel it. Say it with intention. Let it carry weight. Because this act, as simple as it seems, is not just about words. It is about declaring to yourself that you are ready to stop carrying what has been silently breaking you. It's a promise, a quiet commitment to yourself, to your future, to your freedom. And the next time you feel tension rising in your shoulders, or a dull ache in your chest, or a pressure in your back that just won't go away, don't just push it aside. Pause. Listen. Remember, every pain has a message, every discomfort holds a truth, and every signal from your body is an opportunity to awaken, to transform, to heal. Don't get trapped in suffering. Don't numb the signals. Don't ignore the call. Your body is your ally. It is asking for your attention, not your resistance. So now I ask you, which part of your body has been speaking to you lately? What emotion do you believe is hiding behind that discomfort? Share it with me in the comments.